Obviously, it's brutal. You know, it's unbelievable, unbelievable. I'm sure I feel the same way every one of you felt when you heard. It's unbelievable.
There's still an administration process, but if this is proven to be true, what will be the process with the title and belt and that sort of thing?
I'm not going to say anything until this whole thing plays out and see how this thing, where we end up. But yeah, it's unbelievable.
Until the process is done, Dana, could this have come at a worse time, sort of the eyes of the whole world on the sport?
Yeah, I mean, these never come at a good time. They're always bad, especially with somebody like Jon Jones, who, you know, wherever you sit in MMA, in my opinion, he's the best to ever do it. He's the best ever. And, you know, that makes it even more unfortunate.
Have you talked to Cormier?
I did.
What did he say?
Holy shit, this is crazy. And he's in Hawaii right now with his family on vacation, and he couldn't believe it either. He felt the same way that I did. Blown away. Huh?
You spoken to John?
I have not spoken to John, no.
Then how much do you think this taints his legacy?
How much what?
How much do you think this taints his legacy?
I mean, if this ends up and he gets, you know, and it ends up, you know, getting 2 or 3, it might be the end of his career. So to talk about his legacy, I mean, that's probably the end of his career.
You don't see him coming back?
He might. Well, let me tell you what, it's tough. I mean, how old is John now? 30?
30.
Yeah, 33, 34, trying to make a comeback again. And you look at what could have been and what he could have done, and it's sad.
You've been very patient with him. He's had other chances. What is it personally sort of painful for you, this one?
What's the question?
The fact that you've had to be patient for John to come back before that this has happened.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's, I mean, I don't even know what to say. I always know what to say. I don't know what to say about this one.
The process can take a little bit of time, as Jeff was saying. Do you know exactly what you guys can do, or just gonna wait until?
Yeah, I mean, you have to wait until the whole thing plays out with the commission and USADA.
You have not stripped the belt and given it to DC?
No, he has to go through the process. He has to, you know, go through the process with USADA and the California State Athletic Commission, and we'll go from there.
You were alluding to it, but obviously the talent that we've seen from Jon Jones as a physical specimen throughout the years. It's like, why, if anyone is not going to take performance-enhancing drugs, right?
Yeah, listen, he's the best ever, in my opinion. You know, he had the potential to move to heavyweight and fight heavyweights. If you look at Cormier, Cormier's never been beat at heavyweight. Jon beat him twice. I'm not saying that means Jon could have reigned in the heavyweight division, but he has the size, the power, everything. He has everything to be a heavyweight champion. So who knows what could have been. Just one of those sad stories, you know.
Did you ever talk to Jon after 214?
No. Jon and I still haven't talked since 200. Hi, and a couple of words here and there, but we haven't talked. Yeah.
Depending on what happens with the process and the test procedures and all, and what needs to happen in due process, I mean, would you consider doing an interim or something of that nature until it's decided?
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Cormier would be the champion. I mean, the only guy he's ever lost to in his whole career is Jon Jones. So he was the champ. You know, he's the champion if Jones isn't.
How long would you wait for results before you make a decision?
I don't know. I mean, how long do you think this thing takes to play out?
Again, it varies. I've seen them play out in as little as, under a month. I've seen them take, 6 months up to a year. It just depends on the circumstances. Way too early in the game right now. I mean, we're a couple hours into getting notified to know really what all the circumstances are here. So way too early to predict that.
How close were you guys to booking Jones Gustafsson for Detroit?
We were talking about Jones fighting at heavyweight.
Against Stipe?
Probably.
In Detroit?
Probably.
Dana, have you talked to Malky yet?
No, I haven't talked to anybody. I talked to Cormier. He told me when we were at the office, this thing's going to go down, and I'll we have to notify Cormier, so I'll tell you when. And he told me, said, go ahead and call him. So I called him while we were here. I called him from here. Yeah.
So were you here when you got the news?
No, I knew this afternoon, but we were waiting to contact those guys. I guess they were trying to get a hold of John Jones. So.
Yeah, there's a process involved that, USADA has multiple parties that they need to contact first, and then the formal notice and statement goes out, but it's relatively quick. It's within really probably an hour.
You say your speech is unlike usual. Is this like kind of hurt personally, the fact that you kind of seen like the beginning and all the way up and the ups and downs, and we're here?
Yeah, it's just, John and I have been mad at each other since UFC 200, but the reality is we've been there for this kid every step of the way. How many times did I fly to Albuquerque every time he, got in trouble? And, the list goes on and on of what we've done for this guy. And, yeah, it's sad. I like his family. Dad's a nice guy. His mom was a sweetheart. His brothers are good guys. And just, you look at the potential that this kid had and what he could have been, and you know what I mean? Look at Conor right now. Look at Conor McGregor. Imagine what John Jones could be right now. How big he could be. How many sponsors would he have? Who would he be signed with that, have never signed a mixed martial artist before? And the list goes on and on of what could have been with John Jones. It'll be a great 30 for 30 someday.
What is it overall, Dana? You guys have instituted a lot of things, bringing in Jeff, being with USADA. You've done basically everything that you can do to try to stop this behavior from occurring. The fact that it still occurs, what does it tell you about the mindset and the way fighters can get and competitors can get?
Well, there's never a way to completely stop something. If people are always going to try to look for an advantage, but he was just telling me the other day. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think you have to take a look at the numbers and see that, at least numbers-wise, we are seeing a difference. The first 18 months of the program, I think we had 36 or 37 adverse events, and here we are in 2017, 8.5 months in, and we've seen a rash in the last couple of weeks. We're still in single digits, We have 540 plus fighters on our roster, and yeah, this is an unfortunate one and high profile, but you have to look at those numbers. 9 adverse events with 540. That's 531 athletes that are complying with the system. Those are good numbers.
Amazing numbers. And how many times have Floyd and Conor been tested since?
So I was telling Dana this week that since July 1st, both Floyd and Conor have been tested. They've had 13 samples collected, and without a doubt, the two most tested athletes on the planet Earth in the last month and a half. And so, I think that makes that fight even more special coming up.
That's one of the things I respect about Floyd, too, is that Conor was already in this program, with the UFC. Floyd didn't even flinch when I said, we want him to get USADA tested. Jumped right into the program and been tested 13 times, and they're both clean.
So the
Strong.
results are back from Florida one. Oh, the results of Conor and Floyd are back.
They're likely being tested even this week as we speak, so I don't think that all of the results are back, but I'm sure with the high-profile nature of that fight that every test is being expedited to the extent that USADA and these laboratories can. Okay.
Jeff, will that be the norm? Conor Mayweather is known for having blood and urine testing for him as opponent.